And so we're going to try something new. I've got the camera tracking me today, so maybe it's a little bit more interactive, so we'll see how that works out. All right, so right now we're ironing the liner so that it will be ready to sew in. So I'm just going to get going and keep working on this. So as you can see, I've been sewing things in line. And what I mean by in line, I don't know if that's the proper seamstress term, but instead of using a whole bunch of thread on each end where you pull it out and you cut it, I sew them in line. So you can see how they're all attached to each other. What that also does is it makes it essentially into a one pin pattern because the nose is already essentially in place because these seams are exactly the same size, so they'll be centered. Whoa, come back here. Where did you go? Okay, that was less than ideal. All right. So anyhow, camera foibles. We'll probably have to turn that off in a bit when we get sewing so that it doesn't wander off. So, how are all you guys doing today? Hi, everybody. I am making a mask right now for Lonnie Sharp. Hi, Lonnie. All right, so now we're going to head over to the sewing machine. Let's see if this works to follow. Oh, come on. Come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Nope. All right. Not quite. Now I need to switch that to the other side, right? Right. Okay. Switch you to the other side. No, that side. There we go. Okay. So this is with the pivot, which is kind of interesting because it will segment me off to certain sides of the frame. Right now I'm on the left side, right side of the frame. Okay, so let's try to get me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so hopefully this stays. We'll see how that works. No, not so well. All right. Anyhow, I'll fix that in a second. I'm not liking this exposure either, but we're going to get to sewing and you'll see how this all works. I'm going to sew the liners in line as well, and so those you'll see how it works. It's pretty cool. I'm going to zoom the camera in, so hold on just a sec. Let's see, we're going to center that. We're going to turn off the face thing off. There we go. All right, so I'm going to swing you around. Whoop. Bear with me. I promise this will be fun and awesome. Maybe. Assuming I can get my stuff together. There we go. You see my mess. So many masks made. It's kind of awesome. Alright, so now we're going to maybe zoom in. Yeah, okay. How's that? We'll remove people's names so that they don't feel self-conscious. Awesome. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, onward. So we have to find the end. That's working. Okay, and then make sure we sew them on the right side. So you'll see the little flap. We're going to sew that into place. And I've got an an edging foot on here, a edging presser foot. And the reason I do that is because I kind of suck in general. And I use two presser feet that have edging in them. This one will get me this adorable little 1/4 inch. You'll see it in a bit. And this one gets me a nice even. I was using a presser foot that was also an overstitch foot, but the problem is it has a little bar in the middle, which is how it does the overstitch so nicely, and I kept forgetting to change the setting and would bust needles. And not like needles are very expensive, but it adds a whole bunch of time and fuss factor. So we have changed that so we don't have any more fuss factor. So if on my feed it looks like I'm sewing a lot of masks, that is a true statement. And I have tons of masks available. I hear it's getting a little hard that sometimes you can order masks on Amazon, but then they're not being delivered until June or something ridiculous. And just so y'all know, I have tons in stock right now. And we ship out almost immediately. So you can see here, look at all these masks. 2 boxes of masks right now. Whoop, there's another one. All sorts of colors, patterns, and sizes. Hopefully I have something for everyone. So I think after I get these done, there might be some scuba diving in order, because it is gorgeous outside, but I hear that visibility has taken a turn for the murky, or the schmurky as we like to call it. So you see how this saves time and thread, because I'm not cutting between every single mask and every single stitch line. I'm just cutting at the end after I've done maybe 10 seams here. Let's see, 8, maybe 15. So the trick with this, and part of it I've sorted out with my pattern, is that to make this work, to make this what they call the 1 pin work, you've got to go basically butt to butt, and so I put a little notch in my pattern so I can see that I'm lining these guys up right. Okay, so then the first thing you have to do next, or the next thing you have to do after you've sewn the liner edges, is you go through and you free those up. Boop, boop. 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 Alright, and then go make sure I've started on the right end. Yep. Alright, so now we release the sets. And so this is a cover and a liner. The covers are good quilting fabric, and the liners are 400 plus thread count, beautiful Egyptian cotton sheets that I would love to be sleeping on. Not right this second, but they're really nice. Okay, so now I'm sure you're all dying to see what happens here. You roll it around. I look and make sure that my notches are on the right end. They are. Make sure my octopuses are upright. This is the bane of my existence, is fabric that is sided. Fabric that has an upside and a downside. So even though they call this 1 pin, because you could see there was a little bit of waffle, a little bit of space there, I'm actually going to use a couple, more than one, just to keep it lined up nicely. Now, the other thing is, this is my new pattern, and it's really, really cool because it has a real pocket built in. So it has more of a cone shape. You can see that here. And so when I sew it a little differently than the others. I kind of try to put it into its shape like that. So when I'm sewing, I rotate around the cone so that I'm not forcing it and getting wrinkles and things. And so that's it takes a little bit more time, but I think it makes a much better outcome for you, the end users, because it gives you more like breathing room, if you will. I can show you what I mean by that in a second if you're interested. So I tee these guys all up, get them all pinned with these cute little pins. These are clips, fabric clips. They've kind of been, I still use pins sometimes, but boy, these little fabric clips have just been amazing. You can't sew over them. You can sew with them clipped onto the fabric, but you have to remove them along the way. And so for something really ornate, I'm not sure I'd want to have to hassle with that every single time. Because with pins, you can leave them into place. But because they're flat on one side, you can see they're flat on one side, they actually will roll nicely with the fabric, but you can't sew with them actually attached. You can't sew through them like with a pin. So pins are still on my list of things to use, but with regards to these masks and making them, these little clips work phenomenally well. If I'd had them in the beginning, we may still be making pleated masks, because I bet they make pleats easier to do as well. But I think you guys seem to like these styles more than pleats. So you can see that's got a really nice cup that it's going to make. So if you like the dark octopus fabric, I got more. So those are going to be re-added to inventory. I know that they were sold out yesterday, but as of today they're not sold out anymore. Yay! And I will make a ton of them. I got another yard or so of fabric, so that will make like another horde of masks. A fat quarter I can get somewhere between 3 and 4 masks out of, depending on if the fabric has a top and a bottom, because if I use sometimes just the way the pattern lays, if I'm trying to save fabric, then it won't always line up right, but most of the time I can get it sorted out. So I have to remember to do that. You got to really push it out. Remember to push it out, or what you'll get are weird little crimps, weird little fabric gussets, unintentional gussets. But yeah, the presser feet really made a big difference. I didn't realize that. I don't know that I ever really changed presser feet very often when I was sewing before as a youth. Maybe possibly used a buttonhole once or twice, and a zipper foot, and probably an embroidery foot, but I've changed more the presser feet back and forth in the past month than I've ever changed them in my life. And so right now, as I was saying, I go between those two, an edging foot, an adjustable edging foot, and a 1/4 inch, I guess, edging foot, quilting edging foot. This guy doesn't get it tight enough. You'll see in a bit how I've modified everything so that I have this beautiful little overstitch on the edge. It's just gorgeous. It makes me very happy. And aren't we doing this to spark joy? Yes, we are. Okay, how's that doing? So I checked this to make sure the seam isn't quite too small. That takes into account all sorts of whatever shenanigans are going on. And let me just go ahead. Remember how I was saying I kind of roll that up? That way, as you can see underneath, sewing very evenly. Boom. see when I use these feet is I get something that is extremely repeatable. So now there's much less human error, human variability in these seams. And then now I'll go through and I'll cut the threads. If you do them now, you don't have to deal with them later. It's much nicer. So then I'll check that, and you can see it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I'll give you a little bit wider view. Hello. So now we take these, we turn them right side out, and we take them over and do a bit of ironing, and then we come back and finish them. It was just the cutest. I love this fabric. And you see the pocket I was talking about? It's got a really nice face shape. Looks more like a face. This is what my little mini mask factory looks like. Okay, so I'm going to leave this presser foot on here for a bit because that's what we're going to use to sew the tie channels here once we've ironed them and folded them up. And then for the final step, we go to this presser foot for that pretty little edge. Let's see if I can find one that's got it here. Yeah, this one will show up nicely. So you can see that really tight edge, I think. What do you guys think? I like the look of that better than the wide, so I've kind of gone to that. All right, we're going to head back over to the ironing. Yes, there is. Uh-huh. All right, so we're back over here. You can see I've got this cool Martinelli rotating cutting board. I had to put some tacky stuff, some Lexel in the back of the ironing cover, so I could theoretically keep swapping it out like that, but I'm not so keen on that much effort. So I just get it set, and this keeps me from touching up ironing on my actual cutting surface. You can see I have a bad habit of trying to do that. That's a little bit of melty there. I wasn't sure about this this Martinelli cutting board at first, but rotary cutting mat. But now that I've been using a bit, I really like it. It's very good. So as you can see, I've cleared out a lot of the fabric that I had going on over here. I just have, let's see, 4 new patterns to make tomorrow. And then, of course, there's always more fabric coming. But probably time to go diving and stuff for a bit and take a break after I get a few of these orders done. Because I cannot survive on mask making alone. So I'm getting better at rolling these corners, but I'm still not perfect at it. So I still need my little tool from time to time to push the ironing edges. So you can really see the shape coming out as I do the ironing here. You can see the pocket, built-in face shape. So you're not having to, these masks are not designed to be reefed down really hard on your face. They're actually designed to be worn comfortably, and that's the whole reason for putting in a little extra effort trying to perfect the mouth pocket area and putting this shape into it, because then if it fits your face naturally, you don't need to pull the ties down so tight when it comes time to wear it and to get a comfortable fit. Another large part of that is using a stronger nose pinch, and I started out not using a stronger nose pinch because I thought that might erode through the fabric and maybe hurt people's faces. But it seems like now I've gone to using an 18 gauge wire nose piece because it really improves the functionality of the mask and holds this area down it doesn't actually hurt your nose. You're not like, it's not wire pressing on your nose again. You're not putting these things on so tight that they hurt your face. So does anyone have any questions for me? How do we wash these? I put them in a bra bag, in a lingerie bag, and then put them in the regular wash, or just in a sink of hot soapy water. Works as well, and then dry them. What happens if your nose pinch moves around a bit? Because I don't sew my nose pinches in. Some people sew those nose pinches in, but I understand that maybe some people have a reason to not want a nose pinch there, or if they use this mask extensively during the pandemic and then they want to use it again in the fall during fire season, or maybe we have another outbreak. I was worried that over time maybe the ties and the nose pinch would wear out, and so I wanted to make sure that everything is replaceable. I put a fair bit of energy into making the seams and the sewing part of it durable, like with overstitching and stuff like that. And so I wanted to make you guys a mask that will actually last as long as you want to use it. And therefore, you know, there's some features built in, but also might make you go, why didn't she sew in this nose piece? And that's the reason why everything has been thought about. Not because I'm lazy, it's just because I think I wanted it to be replaceable. And so if your mask, after you've washed it or after you tossed it onto the counter or into your whatever UV light light box, and the nose pinch has rotated a little bit, just slide it in the channel. Ain't no big thing. And if you ever need a replacement nose pinch, I'll make sure those are available online. Also, ties. So basically we just sit and do this for a while. So now in just a minute we head back over to the sewing machine and we will sew these bad boys up. Then I'll get to go have to redo my inventory, update my inventory. Oh, let's see. How we're going to switch this side. There we go. Now we're back to the sewing bit. Then I flip them over and start at the other end. Yay! Takes a second sometimes. Now you can see all of the tie channels are completed. I will clean them up. Look at all these little happy octopus masks. Oh, they're so happy. Happy and joyful, kind of like the trees. Happy and joyful painting guy, right? Yeah. So that's step whatever, almost final steps, but not quite. There's one, pretty much ready to go. Nose pinch installed. right, you guys have survived start to finish some octopus masks. I hope you enjoyed the show and tune in tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.